Hey y'all, Kevin from Hindsight. Hey, a couple weeks ago I did a walk around video of my 57 F-100 and just kind of told about what it is, what's going on. I mentioned that I just put some new Dennis Carpenter door seals on it. And a gentleman named David from Wichita commented on the video and asked about the door weather strip process and the installation process. Asked for some tips basically, or any information that might help him. And I thought, geez, if I can't spend a couple of minutes making a video to help a guy out, what the heck's wrong with me? So we're going to do that just real quick. Unfortunately, I didn't video it when I did it, just because, don't know. So let's talk about it just real quick. Here's the truck. What I did, like I said, I got the Dennis Carpenter ones. They worked out real good. First thing I suggest is mirror. If you have a mirror, whether it's this style, whether it's the big style, like what used to be on here, take it off, get it out of the way. Don't even mess around with it, just get them out of the way. If you happen to have painted door handles, like I do, tape them up, do something to protect them, because when I put it on the bench, I ended up scratching up my door handle. Truck's got a couple of scratches on it, so it's gonna be fine. Anyway, what I did, you can jack around and try to put these things on with the door still on the truck, but I would never suggest it. It would be a debacle. So what I did was I took the door off from the hinge to the pillar. I unbolted it right here, there and right there. And this hinge just kind of slides out. You kind of pull it around the corner and it works out real good. Probably, it might have been easier to take it off from the hinge to the door. This plate comes off, it's just held on with a couple of screws. Take it off and you can access the bolts in there. Same on the bottom hinge. Might have been easier, I don't know. I knew I was gonna have to adjust these hinges anyway, so I just popped it out there. Either way, gotta get the door off. What I did was I put it on a stand like this, a scissor type stand. If you don't have one, you can use anything. Put it on a big plastic 6-foot table, whatever you got. These things are pretty cheap. You can get them at Harbor Freight, 20, 30 bucks. Worth their weight in gold. Fold up nice and flat, get out of the way. So anyway, once you get the door off, get it on the bench, you got to get all your old weather strip off. Mine was pretty crusty and nasty. It took a lot of scraping, and I don't know if it was the original set or if it already had a set on it, but there was some nasty glue and it was kind of a mess. So that probably was the longest of the entire process, was cleaning it off, because you got to get it clean. I scraped and cleaned and for quite a bit. These are those mirror bolts for this style of mirror that I got. There's just 2 bolts. Take them off. Putting them back on after you have the new weather strip seals on can be a little tough with that bolt right in there, but it's doable. So after I cleaned and scraped for quite a while, got the new one out, the new weather strip. The seam for it is right here. It's kind of hard to see, but the seam is right there. And I test fitted it before I started gluing. So it's flat on the bench, this side down, this side up, and you're pre-fitting it. Just kind of take a look around. The set comes probably 2 inches too long, so it'll come up overlapped over here. So once you test fit it, because it's got some preformed curves in some of these little nooks and crannies. Like I said, it's a really good product. It's pre-fit right in this for this curve. So start here and work your way up and just kind of slowly go around. I glued, and it doesn't take much glue. I used the 3M Super Weather Strip adhesive. This is 3M number 08008. I ordered it from Amazon. I think you can get it at O'Reilly's, Advance, wherever, any place like that. I used one, what does that say, 5 ounce. It did both the doors. So all you need is 1 tube. Like I said, you don't need a lot of this stuff. Use it sparingly. You'll kind of get used to it. It's kind of sticky. I started here, worked my way up, because like I said, it's got these preforms, so you got to make sure and get this in the right place. Worked it all the way along there. I did a 12 to 16 inch spot at a time. Would put the glue on, lay it down. I had a lot of tape pulled off and just stuck to the door, some like 4 to 6 inch pieces, probably 20, 30 little pieces. I already had them pre-torn and stuck to the door. And as I did a 12 to 16 inch part of it, I would tape it, running the tape across here and go just kind of going this way. Stick it down in there, stick it around the edge. Worked out real good, held it down in place as I went along. As you get down into like this area down here at the front edge of the door, this flat kind of weird spot right in here, it was tough to stick. I had to lay tape this way and had to use quite a bit of tape in there. But other than that, it wasn't too bad. I mean, it was a little time consuming. I did one a night. So I let it sit on the bench overnight. So the stuff got good and dry. And then I reinstalled the door the next day. Gonna have to do some adjusting more than likely, depending on how bad yours were. Mine were horrible. Non-existent in some places. Door shut really good, but it rattled like crazy. So they were pretty much junk. There was nothing there to do the job that they were supposed to do. So once you get it done, you're gonna have to do some adjusting. There's plenty of adjustment in these hinges. You can kind of see where my bolts were before. So I ended up bringing the hinges out a little bit to give it some more room for the new weather strips. Another thing I suggest is what I did was after I installed them, forgot to mention, when you're done and you come up around to here to this seam, it's going to be about that much too long, a couple inches too long. So you're just going to have to trim it with a razor blade, make it match, do it up as tight as you can, and kind of make sure there's no gap between here. So what I did after I installed them, I just happened to have a nice couple of days. So I closed the doors with the windows up, sat it out in the sun for a day, and just let it sit out there and kind of bake. And that kind of helped set them a little bit. They shut a lot better after I did that. So just a little tip there if you happen to have a warm day when you do it. Just roll up the windows, set it out in the sun with the doors completely closed, and it'll help seat those seals a little bit. That is pretty much it. After I put it back on, I put my mirror back on and lined up my body lines as best I could, and did it that way. So if you ever have any questions about the truck or anything that maybe I've done to it or any processes like David had about these weather strips, I'd be more than happy to help. And if you got any questions, drop them in the comments. And all of us from Hindsight, we're going to answer your questions. All right? We're just a bunch of normal guys that want to help people out and want to get people into this thing. More to come. Take care.